and thank you for joining us. My name is Stephanie Allen, and I am the Assistant Director within the Department of Professional Studies. I want to welcome each of you to the UMBC Virtual Open House. And without further ado, I introduce you to the Graduate Program Director, Dr. Ergen Sivek.
Thanks so much, Stephanie. Good evening, everyone. And I see some people are joining us from overseas today, so maybe I should say like good morning to you. I hope everyone is safe and doing well during these difficult COVID-19 times. As Stefan said, my name is Ergun. So I have those like dots on my name. So it's not Ergun, it's Ergun. So I joined UMBC almost 3 years ago. Previously, I was a faculty member at GW, George Washington University. And today, hopefully in the following 20 minutes or so, I will be able to give you some, let me just mute one of our friends. Okay, I will be able to give enough information about you, about our program, about our faculty members. Then in the remaining 20 minutes or so, I can answer, also Stephanie can answer your questions regarding both administrative and academic matters. So since the time is very limited, let me start right away. By the way, this is our beautiful campus. So if you are not, if you haven't been to our campus, this is our main campus. It's really beautiful. And this is our building, ITE, Information Technologies and Engineering building. And this is right, my office is. So the current plan is, it's not certain, but the current plan is having, courses like face-to-face courses, in-person courses as much as we can, and we are very hopeful that so many people will be able to vaccinated. So right now, all faculty members, all the TAs and RAs, they are in the tier 1 group, so we can get vaccinated, and hopefully, like the majority of the people will be vaccinated before the fall semester starts, and hopefully we will have our regular on-campus program. But right now, again, like there's nothing certain, but the plan is having everything in person. But as I will explain in the following minutes, in the following slides, we have plans for any kind of scenarios, and we will offer at least one online section of all the core data science courses in every fall and spring semester. So that's our promise to our students. So we offer our programs in data science at 2 different campuses. So one of them is here. This is our main campus, like very close to BWI. So BWI is Baltimore Washington International Airport. It's maybe like 10 minutes from that airport. And then we have also a satellite campus very close to Washington, D.C. So that campus is called like USG, Universities at Shady Grove, or sometimes just simply Shady Grove. And it's pretty close to the other airport, Dulles Airport, which is close to Washington, D.C., on the west side of Washington, D.C. So we have those, 2 campuses, and we offer same set of data science courses. I mean, the core courses are same. Mostly, they are taught by different faculty members, but sometimes we have faculty members teaching at 2 different, teaching the same course at 2 different campuses. So in terms of core courses, there is no difference between our main campus programs and our programs at Shady Grove. But there are some differences I will explain in the following slides. Regarding to pathway courses or elective courses, I should say. Again, this is a beautiful picture from our beautiful campus at Baltimore, and this is a picture from our new campus in Shady Grove. But by the way, I have to tell you, so this campus has a new building, which is building 4. It's like a luxury hotel, and we are located in that in that building. So you should definitely see that building. So like when I say it's like a hotel, I'm not exaggerating. It is really beautiful. All right, so this is our campus. Let's go with the following slide. So there are a couple of questions we should answer before we begin, right? The first question is, what is data science? So if you've been in this field for a while, or if you are a beginner, probably you have an idea. But if you talk to different people, in this industry or area for many years, I'm sure they will all come up with like different answers, because this field is huge. But a couple of months ago, maybe like a year ago, National Academy of Engineering, they come up with their own definition. And they said data science is knowledge discovery from often large and complex data sets. And it is an interdisciplinary field encompassing statistics, computer science, mathematics, and some domain-specific tools. Okay. So even though this is a very simple definition, I really like it, even though it's not perfect. Like for example, here we don't have anything about AI, right? Artificial intelligence. We don't have anything about NLP, like natural language processing. So they're also part of data science. But you get the big picture, right? So there must be some data sets, and they don't have to be in the same format. There could be text, numbers, images, sounds, videos, you name it. And our job is using different tools and techniques and methods and knowledge, statistics to gather information which is not observable to our bare human eye. So I have to tell you, like, my original field of expertise is scientific computing, and I was working on mostly on photonics or computational photonics. And in the beginning, I was really skeptical about data science. I thought it was a hype. But then what I did is, we've been solving these Maxwell's equations for over 100 years. Okay, so it is called electromagnetic inversion. Basically, it is like those X-ray imaging or MRI imaging. So we've been solving Maxwell equations to achieve this electromagnetic inversion, and it was taking hours to get reliable results. Then in the last couple of years, we said, okay, let's try to use this data science. Let's try to use deep learning or neural networks to achieve electromagnetic inversion, not by solving equations, but only from data, solely from data. And the result is really amazing. And actually, like my latest paper, it will be published in the following weeks or maybe months at IEEE Antenna Propagation Journal. It's all about this. Electromagnetic inversion, classical approach versus data science. And you have to see the results. If you have time, and I can share you my slides or presentation with you. The slides are really amazing. Without solving any equation, if you can provide enough information to these machines, then really they can learn from data and they can solve even non-linear problems like the ones we solve in electromagnetic inversion. It's unbelievable. Like in my case, the accuracy was as high as 93%. And this is almost impossible to achieve with traditional computational electromagnetics or photonic solvers. So seriously, this is a crazy field. But then there's another aspect. Since it is a very hot subject right now, there is a very strong demand from industry. In the last 3 years, data science or data scientist has been considered as the hottest job or the best job in America. And in our neighborhood, salaries are really satisfying. Average person with a master's degree in data science is making 110K a year or so. Some people are, of course, making more than that. Some people are making much less than that. So it depends on your overall package, right? So if you join us or if you join another program, it doesn't matter. So you should build your portfolio, and while you are learning, Python programming, machine learning techniques, database management, whatever you are learning, you should build that portfolio and you should present it in a nice and clean way so that you can increase your chance of getting a job right after graduation, and also you can increase your salary based on your knowledge and skill and also experience. So this Bureau of Labor Statistics, they did this study many years ago, and they expected to a 20% increase every year in the following 5 years or so for jobs in the field of data science and data analytics. And of course, because of COVID-19, these numbers have been affected last year in a negative way, but now the field is picking up again. So if you just go to Indeed.com or LinkedIn jobs, you can see how many jobs we have, not only in the greater DC, Maryland, Virginia area, but also in the entire United States. So there's a huge demand. And this demand is really interesting because sometimes sometimes you only expect companies who have extremely large data sets are interested in hiring people as data scientists. It's usually that's not the case. Anyone who's producing who's manufacturing, they're also interested in data science and somehow using their production line or like available data sets to make their products better. So currently, one of our students, she is actually working for for a startup company, and their main customer is Bose. So you know Bose, right? Like they produce those audio systems. So Bose is trying to create a actually Bose is working with Audi, and they're trying to create a system which can detect the car's problems from sound waves by using machine learning. So this is again like beautiful field. So her background was electrical engineering. Didn't know much about machine learning or other stuff, but she has this strength. What is that strength? She knew signal processing, right? So in electrical engineering, they teach signal processing. So she got this job, and now she's doing a wonderful job out there. Okay, so your background, whatever it is, history, language, like literature, engineering, chemistry, molecular biology, you name it. It is very important. It will be very important in your next job. And don't say that, okay, I'm done with my undergraduate education. It's not the case. It is very important. And I can assure you in every field, in every area, there's a need for data scientists. So this is the last part of this slide. It's a very interesting one, because they ask data scientists, maybe like 60,000 of them, how often do you get contacted for new job opportunities? And this is the interesting part. 50% says at least once a week, I receive emails or messages on LinkedIn regarding new opportunities. So this is how it is. This happened to me. I approached some other people to join our team, both at UMBC and at Exponent. So this is how it goes. Okay, this is a field. By the way, right now there are so many schools providing education both at the undergraduate level and the graduate level of data science, but still the demand is more than what we can supply. Let me give you one small example. Excuse me. So last semester, this company, Lighthouse, they contacted me, and they said, "Oh, we want 20 of your graduates who are about to graduate in December." And we were like, "Oh, we don't have that many students who will be graduating at the end of December, so we have only 17." And they were like, "Okay, we will get 17 of them." Then we were like, "Oh, again," because some of them already have full-time jobs, right? But the thing is, if you have especially a high GPA, if you have nice capstone projects, if you have a nice LinkedIn profile, if you have a very strong, rich GitHub account like repository, then you have a very high chance of getting your first job or like finding your internship while you are a student at UMBC. Again, like job market is like real hot. But there's another question: why it is very hot right now, right? Why not? It wasn't as hot as this like 10 years ago, or why we are not waiting for 2030? Why it is so hot right now? And the answer actually has like 4 components. Component number 1 is the amount of data we are generating, right? Through our cell phones, our mobile devices, with this 4G, 5G, 6G communications stuff. The amount of data we are just generating is just increasing, right? That's number 1. Number 2, the amount of money we spend to store data is just getting cheaper and cheaper. So this is a hard drive which could store 5 megabytes in 1950s, produced by IBM, and it was $50,000. Okay, 5 megabytes for $50,000. Now, if you go to like Amazon.com, you can buy this like USB drive for like 1 terabyte. It's like $60 or even less. If you buy it during the Black Friday, it's like half. Okay, so the amount you spend to store that information is extremely cheap, right? And third thing is, now we have these bad boys, right? So like these are GPUs, graphical processing units, processing units, and we have TPUs. So these guys are specifically created for matrix operations, and matrix operations is what we do in machine learning. Tons of matrix operations to achieve training in a neural network, right? So these bad boys help us to reduce computation time like dramatically. Okay. And the fourth thing is, the field of data science, the community of data science is so different than others. So like, as I told you before, my background is in electrical engineering. And if we do something, we keep it with ourselves, okay? We don't share it. Like our codes, our patents, or our anything, we just keep them to us, to our research group. But here, the situation is different. People really love to share what they do in the field of data science. So if you go, like, actually, if you look at the number of modules, like Python modules, it is, the last number was 150,000. So there are 150,000 free modules you can use for your own specific project. And they're also very welcoming. No matter what your background is, they're okay. Now, I always give this example, like when I visited a close friend of mine, he's a senior data scientist at Oracle. Half of his teammates, colleagues, they were not engineers or scientists. They were from literature, history, some other fields, but they were not coming from technical fields. And that is so okay, and that's actually so beautiful, because we need people from all different areas to do different parts of this business. Like arts, we need artists, right? Because the data science has this very strong visualization thing. We need people who are really good at English, so that they can sell our products or other people's products. Again, like no matter what your background is, you are very welcome to our area. All right, I told so much. I should speed up. All right, so at UMBC, we have basically two academic programs on data science. One of them is graduate certificate, and the other one is Master of Professional Studies in Data Science. I know most of you here tonight are interested in MPS, Master of Professional Data Science, Master of Professional Studies in Data Science. So I will focus on that subject right after spending just only a few minutes on certificate. So our certificate is very simple, very clean, very neat. So you only need to take 4 courses to earn your certificate. So these are data 601 to 604. So introduction to data science, which is like a broad introduction to data science, where we cover basics of Python programming, basics of linear algebra, statistics, like what those statistical methods the terms mean to us. We also cover a little bit of like very basic like linear regression, data ethics. Again, this is more like a very good brief introduction to all the other courses you will be taking at UMBC. Okay. 602 is our introduction, actually our machine learning class, where we will be teaching you guys supervised and unsupervised learning, also some other basic methods. But in this course, we will not focus on deep learning, because now we have another course specifically designed for deep learning. And if you're interested in that subject, so it will be covered in that class. I will explain later. But in 602, we just barely mentioned what deep learning is, how backpropagation works. But again, the main focus is like supervised and unsupervised learning, and a little bit of reinforcement learning. Okay. So in 601 and 602, a simple laptop is enough. Like you can just use your laptop, even like a Chromebook, by using with Google Colab. So that will be enough to follow your classes, do your projects. But in 603, it won't be enough, because in 603, I'm sorry, we will teach you how to handle extreme large data sets. Those data sets might be available on local servers, but they might be available on in the cloud. So we will teach you how to analyze, handle extreme large data sets without changing them, without manipulating them, and also while keeping all the security aspects according, like doing everything like according to security stuff. So like again, like we will teach those subjects in 603. So 604 is our basically database class. Okay, so I'm not a database person, I don't know much about this, but like a little bit of like SQL, NoSQL, database management, and also so like right now there's a plan about how to use a third-party product to achieve both structured and unstructured data sets in the same system. So again, this is a discussion, actually it will take place tomorrow, but again, in this class, we teach how you manage databases. So these 4 courses really provide a really good foundation for any data scientist. So if you want to work as a data scientist or like a data analyst, so these 4 courses will give you some hints, some good foundations. But if you talk to employers, they expect a little bit more, right? So this is why we have this master's degree, and in master's degree you need to take like 10 courses. So I will explain them in a minute. I always get this question. So if you are planning to get 2 courses per semester, so my recommendation would be taking 601 and 604 in your first semester, and taking 602 and 603 in your second semester. Okay, so the course numbering is slightly misleading. So 601 and 604, they are a better couple. So let's talk about MPS, Master of Professional Studies in Data Science. So I always get this question: what's the difference between MPS versus MS, right? So in MPS, the main purpose is preparing a workforce, preparing students from a wide range of backgrounds for careers in data science. Okay, so you don't have to have an undergraduate degree in computer science. We are not looking for that. Okay, and actually, if you have a background in computer science, and if you are interested in jobs offered at like Google, Facebook, where it requires really good knowledge of theoretical information, theoretical backgrounds behind those machine learning methods, then you should consider MS in computer science. So they teach the theory. Okay, they don't care about applications. They don't care about Jupyter notebooks or anything. Their thing is theory, right? How can we come up with a new theoretical model which can provide a better neural network? So that is not our thing. Our thing is, of course, we teach the basic theory behind all the algorithms, all the methods, all the machine learning techniques. But our main thing is how to use them as efficiently as possible, as like soon as possible. Okay, so the main focus in our program again are tools and applications. Okay. The other thing is, in our program we offer all the courses either in the evenings or online. Okay, we have some courses online, we have some courses in the evenings, but we don't teach during the daytime. We don't, because like our program is created for working professionals. On the other hand, MS courses, they are all during the daytime. Okay, you can almost, yeah, I'm sure like you cannot find any course after 5 p.m. Okay, and the reason is very simple. Their focus is not, their target audience is not working professionals. Okay. So in the MS in CS program, the courses are taught by full-time faculty members. Some of them are like tenured professors, some of them are lecturers. But in our case, we have only me and Dr. Güner as full-time employees, but the rest are instructors from industry. And I will introduce them to you in a minute. But they've been in this field for like 10 years or 15 years. So they are doing this work. They are working as a data scientist or senior data scientist or with other titles, but they are the experts of these things. Okay, they will teach you. They will give you all the hints, all the clues, and all the important information regarding their own field of expertises. And in our program, our students, they don't write a thesis. They do a capstone project, and there's a little bit of writing, but it's not like a thesis. Okay, the language is not very formal. And actually, I will also again provide an example later on. Okay, and there's a third program at UMBC which is provided by IT department or IS department, Information Systems, because they also have courses on data science, and they are somewhere in between MS in CS and our program MPS in data science. So they are like so-so. But if you join us, I will really recommend you to also look at their courses, because, like, for example, this semester they are teaching at least 3 very hot, very nice courses on data science. So you can also take them as your pathway courses. All right. So in our master's program, you need to take 10 courses at least. So if you want, of course, you can take more, but the minimum is 10 courses at 30 credits. And 7 of these courses are fixed. So like 601 to 604, I explained before. So in addition to those 4 courses, we teach data ethics, okay, ethical and legal issues in data science. And I have to tell you, this is a very, very important subject, especially in the United States and also in Europe, but we have different rules. Like when I talk to my friends at Amazon, so I ask him like, okay, like Python programming or like machine learning, deep learning, blah, blah, blah. So what else? What else you are looking for? And the first thing they told me, by the way, this is so true. We are looking for people who know how to handle biased data sets. The bias in data is a huge problem. And if you, this course will actually teach you first how to identify ethical issues like bias, or other stuff in data sets. And also in some situations, like, sometimes your boss, your employer, your colleague might ask you to do non-ethical stuff. So what to do in those cases? Okay, so this is a very important course. The other course we also require, because we are a professional master's degree, is ENMG 652, Management, Leadership, and Communications. So this course, so if you've been in the industry for 20 years, I will say, okay, this course is probably not the best thing for you. But if you are new graduate, or if you're an international student, you should really pay attention to this class. You will learn how to talk to your peers, upper management, lower people, how to, again, like, so what happens is, like, when you work for a company as a data scientist or with another title, in 3 to 5 years, they will ask you, okay, where do you want to go, right? And you might like to stay in the QA business, like quality analyst or data analyst business, or you might like to say, okay, I would like to go in the management pathway. Okay, I would like to be the manager of my team, like 3 to 5 people first, and then more. So in those situations, like, you need to learn how to become a better manager. So this class will teach you all the basics. And actually, like, hopefully, like, we will have some like townhouses, and we will have some visitors to give us some talks about this. And there are some like very, very nice books which can teach you all the secrets to become a better leader, a better manager. And I have to tell you, like, becoming a good manager, it's not an easy thing. So many people think, oh, I can do that. That's not easy. Like, in my previous position, I had a research group, and I was barely able to manage 3 people, 3 PhD students. It's a different skill. I can sit and work on my research like 20 hours a day, but when it comes to managing people, no, it's a different thing. And like the thing is, like, my wife, she has a very big team right now, like maybe 30 people. She knows every single of them, like what they are doing, what they're supposed to do, what they need to do, like this week or so. So it is a different skill set. It is definitely improvable, but you should also test yourself, okay, whether you want to be on the managerial side, or you want to stay in the more engineering or scientific side. All right, so you will take these 7 classes. Then there will be 3 elective courses. Sometimes we call them like pathway electives, sometimes just electives or pathways. So there will be 3 courses. And these courses, again, are very important. So you have to think smart. So don't only think, oh, like, I know about this field, so if I take a class in that field, I will definitely get an A. Well, getting an A is, of course, it's important, but it's not the ultimate goal, right? So you're coming to a university. We offer hundreds of courses. We have experts in hundreds of different fields. So you come here, then use this opportunity to learn from the best. So we have so many pathways, and you can take courses from very, very different areas. What are those pathways? So the first 2 are not official, but so we call, actually, at least I call them fundamentals of data science and advanced applications of data science. I will explain them. So we have pathway in cybersecurity, health IT, management science or project management, public policy, advanced computing, which is offered by the CS department, advanced analysis, which is offered by IS department, economics. We have a new agreement with Institute of Aging, and we also have two other programs, special analytics, which is offered by the geographical and environmental sciences, and bioinformatics, which is offered by NIH, National Institute of Health. But these two programs are not at the main campus, they're at the Shady Grove campus. So you can take those courses, of course, but you have to be willing to drive to either our Shady Grove campus or NIH. So let me explain what I mean by fundamentals of data science pathway or advanced applications of data science pathway. So we have created these courses very recently, and I'm supposed to provide, actually submit some documentation to make these classes, change these special topics classes into regular classes. So right now, they all have the same course number, like 690. So 690 means it's a special topics class. And right now we have 6 of them. Statistical analysis and visualization with Python, right? Mathematical foundations of machine learning and data structures and algorithms in Python. So, so you might ask, like, why did you create a course on, the basic course on statistics while requiring statistics, right? So we require statistics as in your background. So there are multiple reasons. One of them is we have some students, they took a course on statistics like 25 years ago, and they don't remember anything, which is actually same, which is also true for me. I took statistics in 1997, and I don't remember anything from that class, right? So for those people, this class is a really good way of refreshing their memory. But the other thing is, this class is not only teaching you the fundamentals of statistics, but also Python programming, very basic Python programming, and how to do visualization in Python, okay? So that's the purpose of this class. In the first 4 or 5 weeks, pure, very basic Python programming. This is where you download Python. This is how you write first algorithm, and so forth. So, I mean, that algorithm, like if statement, blah, blah. Then we teach statistical analysis, and then we use Python in all those analysis and to visualize the results of those analysis. Okay, so this is a very fundamental, very basic class. This is only created for beginners, and if you don't have enough experience in Python programming, if you don't remember much in statistics, please take this class in your first semester. Okay, we offer this class on Thursday evenings in our main campus, so please take this class. So the other class we created, Mathematical Foundations of Machine Learning. So this is to help our students who don't remember much on linear algebra. Okay, so we will do all sorts of different sorts of matrix operations, again in Python, and then we will learn why we need them, or how they are related to the machine learning techniques. Okay, of course there will be some fun stuff like image processing, or like applying some fine filters to images to make at least to make me look younger and other stuff. But again, this is a fundamental class. So this teaches you, statistics with Python and visualization with Python. The second class teaches you linear algebra with Python. And the third one, we call it like data structures and algorithms in Python. So this is more like intermediate Python programming. So let's say you learn that all of our courses in Python, and you took a introductory Python class, online introductory Python class. Okay, you just know the basics, right? So this class will help you to become an intermediate Python programmer. Again, if you know basics of Python, you can also take this class in your first semester. So these are fundamentals of data science classes, okay, pathway classes. On the other hand, we also have advanced applications of the data science, in which we teach deep learning, natural language processing, and artificial intelligence. So these courses are really advanced, and you have to take them after completing data 601, 602, and 603. before completing those classes, don't even think about taking this class. I should say 601 to 604 because the AI class also requires some knowledge in database management. So these are our advanced data science classes. So we offer modern practical deep learning every semester, every fall semester. We don't offer it in the spring semester, but other two, we teach them almost every fall and spring. We can talk about these classes a lot, but like the again, like for example, the instructor of this deep learning class, he's using his own book to teach this class. Okay, and I took this class from him last semester, and I learned a lot. And fine tuning or creating RNN. So why we need RNN? So you will learn all those very special methods and neural networks in this class. Okay. All right, let's continue. As I told you, we have so many other pathways, like cybersecurity pathway, project management pathway, healthcare analysis pathway. So I have to tell you, so like cybersecurity, analytics, project management, healthcare. So these are all housed within DPS, Division of Professional Studies, meaning that these courses are much more easy to take compared to courses offered by the CS department. Why? Because CS department requires several prerequisites. If you don't have a background in computer science, probably you will not be able to take a graduate class from computer science department. And it is acceptable because their courses are really difficult from theoretical perspective. Another thing I have to tell you, I need to tell you is, so these two pathways, cybersecurity and project management pathways, if you take these three classes, like Cyber 620, 650, 658, then you can also get a certificate in cybersecurity. And in case of project management, if you take these three classes specifically, 650, 671, and 663, then you will get a project management certificate. Okay. So I don't recommend cybersecurity pathway to our international students if you are planning to work in the United States after graduation. Okay, because all those cybersecurity jobs, they require security clearance, and international students cannot get security clearance. You have to be a US citizen. So this bioinformatics pathway, by the way, it's a very hot subject right now because of COVID-19 and other stuff. So these three classes are offered by NIH, and if I'm not wrong, they're all online. So you can take these classes online if you're interested in bioinformatics pathway. All right. So by the way, like we list all these courses, right? So you are supposed to take the capstone at the very end. Okay. In your very last semester, you are supposed to take capstone after learning 601, 602, 603, 604, 605. So if you go up to this website, like sites.google.com/umbc.edu/data606, you can see what kind of projects our students are working on. And we have so many success stories. Oh, by the way, we also have so many failure stories because, like, why? They didn't spend enough time. They didn't put enough amount of work into your capstone project, and the output was just average. So those average projects, I'm sorry, but they can't help you with getting a good job. So we should look at the nice examples, and we have so many of them. So, like for example, this student, I'm not supposed to tell her name, but if you go to our website, you can figure that out. So this student, when she joined our program, she was working in the food industry, okay, in restaurant business. And she was coming from a non-technical background. But I have to tell you, she did an excellent job, not only for her own capstone projects, but also by providing excellent feedback to her classmates. It was so clear, like she was spending so much time on learning new methods, new algorithms, implementing them. And you know what happened? the first Monday after her graduation, she started to work as a junior data scientist at New Wave, and her salary was increased by like 2.5 times. So this is this story. By the way, I'm not telling this story to make you happy. I'm just telling the story because this story really makes me happy, because this program has a purpose, which is helping our students finding jobs. Your background might be in data science or computer science, or might be in a total different thing. But right now there's a demand. There are so many jobs, and our program definitely can help you with getting those knowledge and experience. Then you can really find a very, very nice job. And we have like so many examples. Like last semester, another student of ours, she did a beautiful project, and I was discussing with our colleagues at NIH about a fellowship, and they asked, "Oh, what kind of projects do your students do for capstone?" I sent them this link. They were just looking at the last semester projects, and they were like, "Oh, come on, like, who's this student?" So I told her, like, this is her name, and she said, they said, what she did is amazing. Actually, you can go to just her website. Her name is Yajin Song, and seriously, her job was amazing. Like she was analyzing COVID-19 data sets in situ, and she was up. If you go, whenever you go to her P3 project website, you can see updated results. So she did an excellent job. Now she's a full-time employee at NIH. And like, again, we have so many good stories. But again, we have some bad stories. What are those bad stories? The students who don't put enough effort. And I have to tell you, like from day one, not as the GPD of this program, but as your like older brother. I've been in this stuff for like 20 years. If you have no intention to work hard, don't even join us, okay? Because in that case, you will be a trouble for us. You will be a trouble for yourself. You will be unhappy. You will make us unhappy. Don't do that. If you don't have the motivation to work hard, don't join us, okay? I'm sorry, but please. All right, let me continue. I'm sorry. All right. So I always get this question: what courses should I take in my first semester? So here is my list. Okay, this is time going forward. So if it is needed, you should take foundational data science courses in your first semester, like on statistics, or maybe linear algebra, or maybe Python programming, or maybe all of them, or maybe two of them. But please have strong fundamentals. Oh, by the way, actually, I will answer that question later. Then you should take 601, 604. But please, like in your semester, if you are going to take 2 data science courses, don't take 601 and 602. Believe me, we are here for like many years. 601 and 604, they are a better pair, okay? So in 601, we teach some basic stuff that you will need in 602. Look, if you have a background in computer science, that's not the case. But if you are, especially coming from a non-technical field, please don't take 601 and 602 in your first semester. It's a big mistake. So this is my recommended timeline. Okay. Oh, our faculty members. So we have like seriously great faculty members, teaching in our program for many years, and they have all they have education like PhDs and masters from all those top schools, and they're working for great companies. But most importantly, they are really great instructors. They are great teachers. They care about teaching, and they're in our program not for money, because we don't pay crazy amount of money for teaching in our program, right? So they are really here because they love teaching. Like there are so many great examples. So as I told you before, Dr. Güner is another full-time member of our program. So he's the GPD of our Shadow Grow program. Dr. Walid Yusuf, he works for IBM. He's the big data guy. We have John Wen. Previously, he was at SSA, Social Security Administration, but now he's with the FDA. Hutay Fashkar, he got his PhD from Virginia Tech and right now works for Booz Allen. Like all of these people are really great people. But this one, So this one is the best. Okay, don't forget. So his name is Dr. Ergün Şimşek. He's the best. So Edward Raff, I'm a big fan of him. So he actually, if you just like Google him, you will realize he is one of the top 50 people in the field of deep learning. So he has so many presentations and papers in the top AI, NLP, also neural network conferences and journals. As I told you before, he has his own book. He's doing a wonderful job, and you will learn a lot from him. I learned a lot from him, so I'm 100% sure you will really enjoy him. Okay, so this was a screenshot from my LinkedIn account, which I don't have anymore. But so like I always get this question: like, what kind of jobs do your students do, even like after graduation or even at UMBC? And you can see like these are just a few examples. They work as like data scientists or like senior data science professionals. So Brahmani, she was actually she's still in our program, so she did an internship at IBM, and like maybe I should talk to you guys when you join us. But when I look at our students who are doing internships, I see a big spectrum in terms of the quality and the size of those companies and the amount of monies they are making. So Brahmani was one of those good examples, making really good amount of money, even as an intern. And some students are not doing that because they don't know, probably, how to bargain. But again, we have so many students working in the field of data science, even they are in our program. And we have this blog, creatingaction.umbc.edu. So if you go there, you can see some very nice examples of our graduates. So this student of ours, she came from a non-technical field. Jessica, she studied psychology. Right now, as you can see her, she's a data scientist at Nielsen. So this guy, Nicholas, he was able to increase his salary by 56% after spending 2 semesters in our program. And hopefully you will do the same. Okay, a couple of questions, FAQs from my side. So I always get this question from international students: is your program considered STEM? Yes, it's a STEM program. So if you're an international student, if you graduate from our program, then you will get OPT you can extend your OPT for 3 years. Another question I always get, like, can I take courses from different pathways? Yes, you don't have to take courses from the same pathway. You can mix and match depending on your plans and goals. Can I take courses from Shady Grove campus? Yes, you can take. Do you have assistantships and scholarships? In our program, not really, but there are some other programs and departments that are offering assistantships and scholarships. So if you just Google like UMBC Works, you will be able to go to this service and log into that system. Then you will be able to see open positions. This semester, our students work as TAs and RAs for departments like CS, IS, physics, and math and statistics. Okay. So how do you help with finding internships? So we have 3 different mechanisms. One of them is like we have this like monthly newsletter. So as soon as I receive some requests from local companies, I put them in a single file and I share them. I share those opportunities with our students through our newsletter. But we also have a very active, very aggressive career center, UMBC Career Center. So when you guys join us, you will see that they're working so hard to help each of our students with from creating CVs, resumes, doing some internship interview like rehearsals, then also hooking them with employers. Another very common question is that, what if I don't have any coursework or experience on X, Y, Z? Okay, so my recommendation is always like taking online courses. So if you're not familiar with Python, you can take this course in a class, statistics, edX class, or linear algebra in another edX class. So this will give you all the fundamentals you need. Okay. And as I told you, if you have coursework or experience on X, but if you don't remember much, then please take our foundational data science courses, okay? That's those 690s. And as I previously mentioned, we don't require a thesis. I'm sorry, 5 minutes late. So now I turn table to Stephanie. Okay, you're still muted. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Actually, what you're talking about is the most important, so that's what they needed. But I'm going to share about the admissions and the application process. And
Okay.
basically, for the admission requirements, to be applicable for admission, you have to hold a bachelor's degree in any subject matter with a minimum GPA of a 3.0 on the 4.0 scale. If your previous institution has a different scale, we have graduate school administration to accurately convert for committee review, so no worries about that. All prior coursework should include calculus, statistics, and basic programming such as Fortran or Python. If you as an applicant has work experience that would demonstrate abilities in programming, this may be a factor of consideration towards requirements. However, if you do not have prior coursework or work experience, we recommend you taking online courses, again, in statistics, linear algebra, and or programming. While the GRE is not a requirement, international applicants must demonstrate proficiency in the English language by submitting one of the three tests that you're going to see shared via the screen. And currently, we are also accepting the Duolingo test report. In terms of the actual application process, you will apply online, which all applications are managed by our trusted partner at CollegeNet. And you can find the application link also again appearing on screen here, or you may find it via the data science website under the How to Apply section. As part of the application packet, you'll need to request all official transcripts sent to the UMBC Graduate School. I do want to make sure that I say that and highlight it that you send to the UMBC Graduate School. Many times applicants attempt to send the documents directly to us, but it really needs to go to the graduate school because we as the committee cannot make any reviews until a packet is 100% complete. So again, all information would be sent to the graduate school. This can be done via US mail or via email at gradschool@umbc.edu. For anyone that is a current UMBC student and or an alumni, please know you must also still request or upload your transcript and submit it with your application. It is not an automatic. Again, for our international applicants, you must provide one of the English proficiency test reports, as well as we require you to submit 2 letters of recommendation, which must be on letterhead and signed by the recommender. We also ask from everyone a copy of your academic resume. Your academic resume, that's one of the files that you can access and upload yourself. And oftentimes I get the question, what are you looking for in an academic resume? So I tell people we're looking for things such as your GPA, awards received, research experience, and any programming and coursework background that would be relevant towards program skills learned. Then lastly, in terms of the application portion, a statement of purpose. This is also known as your goal statement. And it's where we get to know you, your background, and your intent within the data science academic pursuit, along with what your future plans are. This is also a good place if you have any concerns such as your GPA or those who have to submit test scores. This is a place that you can give briefly an explanation why it may be a bit lower and or you have some other concerns. And then transfer credit. We do accept up to 6 hours of graduate level coursework. In order to have this evaluated, you must send to my attention the following: a completed UMBC transfer credit request form. This is found on our UMBC website. And this is very important because we ask that you do not simply send an email with various document attachments. You must submit this actual form because it goes further from our department. Along with that, we'll need the course description, we'll need the syllabus, and we'll need the number of credit hours. And that's it for the transfer credit. So at this point, I'll turn it back over to Dr. Simsek. And again, we will open up questions a little bit towards the end. Well, I guess we're getting ready to go to questions, I should say. I thought there was one more slide. On this slide, you will see at the bottom, some of you have been private chatting, asking about the waiver. It is right there at the bottom. It is DPS 2021. It is case sensitive, so you do want to put it in the exact way that you see it here on screen. Again, DPS 2021, and it's under the special populations code when you get into the application. At this point, I see a couple of questions that have come up in the chat. Please know that at this point, submit any other questions you have. You can submit it for the public to see. You can private chat it to me, and I will be reading them aloud to Dr. Simsak. So we'll start with one of the questions right now. For the Data 603, what are some computer specs or recommendations to adequately store the mass amounts of data?
So probably we cannot afford those computers. So this is why we use HPC, like high performance computing facilities at UMBC, and also we use some cloud computing. So don't worry about it. Like you don't need to have a perfect computer for 603, because at UMBC we have those computers. We will give you that access. But if you ask my personal recommendation, like what kind of computer you should have, I always recommend like having something with at least 8 GB of RAM, SSD, hard drive, at least like 512 gigabytes. Then also, like if you are into data visualization, maybe you should also have a good video card. But the most the fun part is like you should buy a GPU. So right now, if you have a laptop or a computer, you can always buy a GPU, right? They're USB devices. And right now on Amazon, you can even buy a good, like not average, better than average type of GPU for like $100 or so. So you need to also look. Actually, we will teach you. Don't hurry, but you will also need to work with GPUs. Okay. But take your time. So in the beginning, you don't need nothing.
All right, next question. What is the ideal duration to complete the course?
Okay, then let me cheat, okay, because I have some extra slides I removed from my original presentation. So guys, like it depends on your current situation, whether you are working, whether you have kids, whether you are an international student, because it changes, right? Like let's say we have the student who has a full-time job. So in that case, my recommendation is taking 2 courses per semester. But please plan accordingly, meaning that you should also take some courses in summer so that you can finish in 16 months. So what I'm like, why is this rush? So my rush is, of course, data science is a hot field, and it will be a hot field in the 5-10 years. We know that. But the thing is, every day the number of rivals is just increasing, right? So today, let's say if there are like 50,000 data scientists, aspiring data scientists looking for jobs, in 2 years later it will be like 100,000, right? So the earlier you are in the market is better, but at the same time you shouldn't rush, right? You should spend enough time to create your portfolio. Without that portfolio, I'm sorry, but you are nothing. Okay. Like I asked this guy, I forgot. I can forget his name. His emails. Like, so I asked him like, what is the first thing you look at their resume? And he said, no, I don't look at resume. I look at their GitHub account first. So that's so important. So please take a note if you are doing notes. Your GitHub account is more important than your LinkedIn account. Okay. So you should build that portfolio. First, a small data set, a small machine learning algorithm. Then then join somebody else's project and contribute. It is so important because in real life, no one is working on a single project by himself. Okay, so this is extremely important. All right, so if you are taking 2 courses per semester, and if you use our summer semesters, then you can finish at the end of spring 23 in 16 months. So this is doable. So if you are an international student joining our program, and if international students are required to take 3 courses during the fall and spring semesters, then you should follow this schedule. In the first semester, take 3 classes. And again, as I told you, like 601, 604, and a light course, which is ENMG 652. Look at here, like 602, data ethics, and then elective. But 603 is after 601 and 602. Then at the very end, you take your capstone. So, again, this is a note for international students. In your last semester, you can take less courses less than 9 credits. Okay. There's another option, which is I really like very much, having an internship. So this is very important for domestic students who do not work in the field of data science and international students who are looking forward to have a job after graduation. Why? This internship, if you can show them you have the talent, you have what it takes to become successful, probably they will offer you a job right after graduation. This happens to me. This happened to me. Like when I was a graduate student, I had internship once. The next summer they invited me again. I went there, I did a good job. And then before I graduated, they told me to come back. So I had my first job at the company that I had an internship. Okay. So this is very doable. Last year, last summer, I had 2 students. One of them had a background in economics, but was working in the like sales business. So he did an internship at a healthcare company doing data science. Now he's a full-time data scientist there. So he showed them what he really has what it takes. Okay. So this is like my favorite formula for international students. But the other thing is that you should not forget, job search is like a full-time course, maybe 2 of them. It takes so much time. You will search for jobs. You will write cover letters. You will apply. They will invite you for interviews. And there will be 2 steps, 3 steps, 4 steps, 5 steps of interviews. They will all take time. So this is why I always recommend you to take capstone in your last semester by itself. But if you say, okay, like I have some experience in my previous jobs, so let's just do one thing. Okay, I'm sorry, Stefan, I mute you because of the feedback. So if you feel like you have the experience and you just need to get our certificate, master's degree, then my recommendation would be the following. So again, in the fall 21 and spring 22, you take 2 classes, but in the summer 2022, while you are doing your internship, you also take 2 online classes. Okay, by doing so, in your fall 2022, you can take 2 classes and you can graduate. So in this plan, that you will be graduating in like 15 months or less. Okay, so this is the fastest route, but this doesn't give you enough time for your job search. Okay, you have to be careful. So all right, so like the short answer is, for international students, typical graduation time is like 2 years. For domestic students, I'm sorry, for like 2 years, maybe a little bit more than that, like 4 semesters or like 5 semesters. For domestic international students, it is either 3 or 4 semesters, because of also taking classes in the summer, and we don't count summer as like full-time semester, even though we offer courses which are 12 weeks long. Okay. All right, another question.
Okay. Is it possible to pursue main courses at Shady Grove and then take electives at main campus? If so, what is the procedure for that?
Oh, there's no procedure for that. Like you can take courses at both campuses. But I have to warn you, after COVID-19, the main campus courses will be maybe like $50 or $70 more than Shady Grove campus courses, because of the additional fees coming from gym and the pool and other stuff. There's not a huge difference, but a very small fee difference. Okay, and there's no procedure. You can just shoot me an email. We will give you permission, then you will take the classes.
Is that the same for pathway courses?
So pathway courses are different. So if those pathway courses are offered from us, then our email communication will be enough. But if you are interested in taking a class from economics department, then you will need to communicate with their GPD. So actually, if you go to this link, so this is our, it's a crazy name, but DSH stands for Data Science, Data Science Handbook. So if you go there, there's so much information. Actually, it also explains you. So if you're interested in taking a class from the information systems department, this is the person you should contact. Okay, and like it also says, send her an email saying that, oh, I'm a MPS data science student. My GPA is blah blah. I'm interested in taking your class. Please give me permission. Okay, so all the information you need about how to take courses from other departments are available on our student handbook. Oh, come on, mouse pointer.
Okay. Is there a difference between the accelerated MPS in data science compared to just a standard MPS?
So accelerated MPS is only available to current UMBC students, right? So they are right now, probably, hopefully, in their third year, and they're thinking about getting a master's degree right after finishing their undergraduate degree. So accelerated MPS means that in their fourth year, they will take 2 or 3 courses from our program, and those courses will be double counted towards their undergraduate degree and graduate degree, so that instead of taking like 60 classes, they would graduate with 57 classes. They would get their both undergraduate degree and graduate degree. Okay, so that's the main difference. But it is only available to current UMBC students.
If we transferred or AP'd out of calculus during undergrad, would that be applicable, or would you still recommend online courses and retaking them?
So actually, it's a difficult question. So in terms of paperwork, because that class will appear on your transcript. You will see that. It's like there's an AP class for the calculus. So you will meet that requirement. But the important thing is not only meeting the requirements, but are you ready for our classes, right? We will be doing lots of differentiations, gradient descents. So if you don't remember those subjects, maybe you can take some online classes on yourself, and then please mention these in your statement of purpose, saying that, hey, I did this AP stuff for calculus, but right now I'm taking online classes to refresh my memory about derivatives or like linear algebra. But again, here we are not trying to make things difficult for you. We just want you to have enough and appropriate preparation to be a successful data scientist. Okay, that's our problem. That's our main purpose.
Is it possible to take over 9 credits per semester?
Yes, we have actually every semester we have 1 or 2 students doing that. So last semester we had 1 student, but no, his undergraduate GPA was 4.0. Okay, so apparently he's a nerd. He loves working 10 hours a day. So he took 4 classes and he got A's from all of them. But we also have a bad example. One of our students said, okay, I want to graduate in 1 year, like spring, summer, fall. And in his first semester, he took 4 classes, and in the middle of the spring semester, he had to withdraw from 2 of them. Right? So it is not everybody's thing. But by the way, I have to tell you, graduate classes are not like undergraduate classes. Okay, so instructor will give you the fundamentals. It will give you the clues, all the guidelines. But then it's your responsibility to all to do additional learning, implementation. So it's not like undergraduate classes. Graduate classes take at least 10 hours a week, even the easiest one. Okay, so don't please come to me and say that, hey, this professor is not explaining everything in the class. Of course they will not explain. This is a graduate class. They will only give you the fundamentals, okay?
Like, let me give you one example. I took this class from this Chinese professor. I cannot remember. Fao Cho something. So he gave us the final exam. Okay, in the first day, he said, "Okay, this is your final exam, and you have 15 weeks to do that, to solve those problems." And I was shocked. It was my first time seeing an open like exam like this. Like you have 15, like you have 4 months basically to hand in that final exam, and everything is open. You can use any source, any friend, anything. Of course, then we realized almost half of the problems were that didn't have a solution. Okay, so it's a tricky business. But again, like graduate level courses are very different than undergraduate level courses. Don't think that we will teach you everything line by line. No, that's not the case. Again, like just a quick note. So I went to graduate school. I met my PhD advisor. We spent like 10 minutes. Then he took me to an office. He said, "Okay, this is your office. This is your computer." Then he tapped on my shoulder and he said, "Start programming." And I told him, like, "I don't know programming." And he said, "You would learn. Just start learning." Okay. And this is how I started, programming without knowing anything. I didn't even know how to, back then we were using C++. I didn't even know the compiler, how to do that. Okay. So the same thing will happen to you. Take your time. But by the way, right now, if you are not, if you don't have a, some introduction to Python, please start from day one. After this talk, please download Python compiler 3.8, Python Anaconda, and follow some online classes and start learning Python programming. It is the core programming language of our program. So one of our guests sent me an email saying that, what about other languages? So like, for example, in bioinformatics, R is still important, that's for sure. But I have to tell you, if you know one programming language very well, learning the second one is so easy. I can assure you, if you learn Python very well, you can learn R programming in 4 or 5 weeks. Okay, it is so super easy. Especially, Python is an object-oriented programming, like more difficult to learn compared to R. But I have to also tell you, even like NIH, they are planning to like transition from R to Python day by day. Okay, in like they have this map, they have this deadline. So in the long term, probably R's portion, both in industry and academia, will get smaller. But of course, there's so many great things about R. We can talk them later. So if you're interested in R, please, start taking on online classes on R, or even there's like you can just download free books on R and you can start studying your own. But in our program, the main language is Python.
Can you speak a bit more about the partnership with NIH/FAES, specifically the deadlines for the application?
Oh, it's a tough question because there was an email communication. So that if you are thinking about the fellowship, so they have a deadline for that fellowship. We have our internal application deadline. But here's the thing, like our application procedure is so simple, right? Your transcript, a basic statement of purpose explaining your main goals. And like if you're a domestic student, like you are not even required to submit reference letters, right? It's so simple, just submit your application. Let's initiate that communication. If there's something missing, we will let you know. If there's something wrong, I will contact you. Okay. So please don't just if let's say our application deadline is August 1st, right? Don't wait till that day. Just submit your application as soon as possible.
How can we access the project/capstone work by current MPS students?
Oh, like if you okay, I am having a trouble with my. So let me close my PowerPoint for a second. Stop sharing, and let me open all right, sites.com data 606. Okay, All right, let me share my screen, share my Google Chrome. Okay, can you see my screen? Like Google Chrome. So like here, this is the first semester. We had, I don't know, 50 students maybe, but this is the second semester doing this system. Fall 2020. So like Sofia Dutta, like she did an excellent job, and now she works as a senior data scientist. You can look at, go to her P3 and you can see what she did. There are like videos explaining her work, everybody's work. If you go to Spring 2020, so let me show you that Ian was a great, well, like, where is this student? Well, Brett did a great job. Like this was a very funny project. So again, all those presentations. So there's a GitHub repository, so you can just click it. It will take you there. So there were like 4 steps. This is what he did in phase 2. So this is the PDF file of his report. This is the PowerPoint presentation. This is the notebook. If you just go to notebook, you will see hopefully. Yeah, all his codes are here. So this is phase 2, just EDA, some basic analysis, some visualizations, correlation heat map. Like everything is online. So why are we doing this? We are doing this because like from February 1 to March 15, our 606 website received almost 1,800 unique visitors from the United States. So 1,800 people. So those people are coming to our website, sometimes by just simply searching project names, but sometimes they are searching those students' names. Probably our students are applying for jobs and they're Googling them. But this is the way you showcase your work. Everything is available. Your presentation, your both file and like YouTube video, your source code, your data set, everything is public. So this is how data science works. Okay, so this is what you should do too. Then of course, you will build your portfolios. Again, like the address is like very simple. So it is sites.google.com/umbc.edu. Maybe I can put this one on our PowerPoint presentation and share. Okay, let me go to my presentation. Where is it? I'm going to add that link. Sorry. Oh, the underline. Yep. Let me share my screen again. Okay. Are you seeing my PowerPoint presentation?
No.
No? Okay, let's
No,
share
we're not
it
seeing
one more time. Now?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So we will definitely share this presentation with you. We can also put this presentation on our student handbook, so it will be available to everyone. All right, let me go to chat box to answer some other questions. I forgot. Where is my chat box?
We are actually at the conclusion of the questions. If anyone has any other questions.
Okay, I have
In
received.
terms of accessing the recording for this meeting, I shared it earlier. All of those who have RSVP'd and are in attendance tonight, I took the attendance sheet. You will be sent 1 week after this from our marketing department. You will be sent a copy of this entire recorded video. So that will come directly to your email. Also, Dr. Simsek,
I have to I think let's see. So one of our guests asked about this deadlines. So I don't remember those deadlines exactly. So if you can send me an email like simsek@umbc.edu, I can get back to you with the planned deadlines. Okay, so I have an email. Dustin actually sent me that email. Maybe if he's online, he can answer that question, but he's not here today. Okay, he's not here right now, but we talk with the NIH people and we have a plan. So let me see. Let me check my chat box because some people send me messages privately. All right.
While you're at it, Dr. Simsek, we did have another question. They are asking, could you remind them of the student that did the work on COVID-19?
Yeah, Yajin. Okay, let me go to. So she did in summer 2020. Where's summer? Oh, summer is not here. What? Yeah, okay. All right, I need to go. Okay, it's here. Yajin Song. I'm going to provide her project link through our chat box. Okay. She did a great job. Very short, very briefly. Yeah. All the visualization, all the analysis, excellent.
Dr. Simsek, did you have any other questions in your private chat possibly?
Yeah, I have, but like one person wrote very long, so I'm going to take a copy and paste, and I will hopefully find that person via email because it's already 7:22. Okay, chat box. So the questions that we couldn't answer tonight, I will try to connect you via email. Okay. So, like Mohammed
Please
asked,
go back to that slide that has our emails as well so that they know how to contact us after. You have the academic questions right here for Dr. Simsek, but would you please go back to that? I think it's the first initial slide that has mine. All questions that relate to anything academically, please contact Dr. Simsek. But if you have any questions about administrative types of things, specifically like the application and admissions, those questions would come to me at our data science MPS mailbox, and those are here on the screen.
okay, just a quick two answers. One of them is yes, our requirements for master's degree and certificate, they are same. We require 3.0 GPA, background in math, statistics, and programming, blah blah. So that we require same things. Another question is, can I have an undergraduate degree in anything? That's right, you can undergraduate degree in anything, but we require either coursework or experience on like linear algebra, statistics, and programming. If anything is missing, please provide us some some effort you put in on either through online classes or some other stuff. Okay, another question.
And Dr. Simsek, just FYI, I did already respond to those later in the chat.
Okay. Okay,
The
that's
students
good.
will see. No, that's fine. It's never ever hurts to hear it double, but I just wanted you to know that majority of the questions have already been answered, whether they ask publicly or privately. I've also responded back in private chat as well.
Okay, all right, perfect. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us tonight. It is 7:24. We can say goodbye.
Thank you all. Good night.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye, guys. To see you at UMBC.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.